Perfect. All right, guys. Welcome to my presentation. It took a little bit of time before I got live, but eventually I'm in. So let's have a look. Let's turn off my WhatsApp. All right. Okay, guys. So welcome to my presentation. I'm David from Utrecht Experience. I will give you an interest of like a presentation of my own, my company. So what I do, I give experience to people, and today I want to give you a rough guide through the city of Utrecht. And what I do is I normally give a lot of people tours through the city, but during the COVID-19 problems, there are not so much tourists in the city. But my second thing is to actually guide expats, so people who start to live and work in Utrecht, but also in the Netherlands. I give them an idea of how to survive in the Netherlands, and especially on Utrecht. So what we're going to do today, I'm giving you a small idea of how to enjoy the city, so not only live in the city, but also enjoy. Which is maybe unique in Utrecht, is that it's a really interesting and old city, and maybe older than Amsterdam. So for you, it might be an interesting place to have a look. And I also want to show you how to explore it. So maybe you can do that better on a bike than, for example, by walk, which I normally do as well. And last but not least, I would like to show you where to drink your beers. But that's quite interesting, I think, for the students. So that's why I took that into account. Okay, so what about me? I actually, for myself, I'm a geography teacher. So I teach children about geography, but also I'm really interested into history. I'm a tour guide in the city of Utrecht, and I am also selling carpets online. So what I do, I give, I sell carpets like from Turkey and Iran online to people here in the Netherlands. My hobbies are sailing, so I love to sail around in Friesland. It's a really beautiful province, which you really should have a look if you have the opportunity, because it's a really beautiful province. It's really untouched nature as well, and the best thing you can do there is sailing. So since this year I have a small sailing boat, and it's amazing. Hitchhiking is a thing I really like to enjoy. Now it's not really safe, I think, with the COVID problems, but usually every summer I go for a really long hitchhike. And the question, why did I start Utrecht Experience? I actually started it because I lived abroad for 3 years, and then I came back, and then I actually realized how beautiful Utrecht actually is, and the Netherlands, and the historical significance. Because when I was in Australia, for example, you do have history, but not what goes back like 1,000 years in time. And that really kind of interested me, and then I started to give tours to people who are actually start to live here or are for a short visit. So I really enjoyed doing that, and now I actually expand that to as well students. Okay. So let's start with the living history part, and as you maybe have noticed, this is a really big building in the city of Utrecht. It's a new architecture of Utrecht. Some people say it's ugly. I think it's quite interesting, and it's the center of music. So and entertainment. So if you would like to see some nice concerts, and I think maybe after a while it might be possible again to enjoy this part of Utrecht. And you really can have a look in this beautiful building. What I would like to share you as well is other new places in Utrecht. This is actually the World Trade Center now, I think recently finished. And as well, maybe more important for you guys, is the government building. So next to the big station, which also has been recently finished, it has a big government building. So if you have anything to do with bureaucracy or something, you can go there and they fix it for you. And if you, after your study, maybe think, okay, I would like to stay in Utrecht or in the Netherlands, they have an international welcome center, which is really interesting. They can guide you through the process of maybe start living here. So they even have like a whole an office for people who have that idea. The station, the biggest one in the Netherlands, definitely an interesting piece of art. Also just finished, and millions of people travel by every year. And now they expanded it. Now during the COVID, there is a little bit less people going with the train, but I think in the coming years it will come back to normal. And yeah, a lot of people have their offices here, so it's really like the center of the Netherlands where you can go really easy. Okay, but where I actually want to inform you about is not all the new buildings. The things I would like to show you is for the old part of Utrecht. This really fascinates me. It's, I mean, probably for a lot of people who always been to Amsterdam and they come to Utrecht, they think, hey, this is different, this feels different. And that's true, because Utrecht is actually in a way older city. So it's more like a medieval town, and if you look deep into the corners of Utrecht, it's kind of random. There's not so much structure in the city. And that's because nature really decided the path of the build of Utrecht. So somehow this was previously a river, so it has been conditioned by the people, but somehow it's still a river pathway. And what is really nice about Utrecht is the canal, of course. This is where people have now their restaurants. So this is a picture made 100 years ago. But now you can chill here. And the interesting part, and you might not seen it yet, but you can actually access from this door. If you look at my mouse, you can actually enter the places above. So previously people came in with their goods here, and they bring all the goods in their storage department here, and then they could sell it upstairs. So sometimes it was like for storage, for cooling, or for keeping it good, like the meat. But most of the time it was like just a warehouse. So those kind of interesting details you can find in Utrecht. And I have a question to you guys. So who were actually the first settlers in the region of Utrecht? I don't mean like the first settlers, but actually the first civilizations, civilization, who was actually based in Utrecht, because I mean, it was an older city than, for example, Amsterdam. So it might be interesting to know a little bit more. But yeah, maybe you have an idea. You can give it an answer in the comments, so I can have a look. And maybe some people know about it, but some people don't know. So I can give you the answer somehow straight away. It might be easy. And actually the first settlers, and that's what you don't find in every place in the Netherlands, but the first settlers of Utrecht were the Romans. So this is Utrecht, and this is the line where the Romans actually stopped going up north. So the Roman Empire exceeded until here. This was the line, and they had to build some kind of defense systems. So in Utrecht they also built like a fortress, and in this fortress they basically had a few hundred soldiers working. It was not that big, and you still can find the remains in the city, but not on the surface, but underneath. So if you want to explore this a little bit more by yourself or with some friends, because it's quite interesting, you can go to Dam Under. And Dam Under is it's kind of like a museum, but it's more like an interactional place. It's not like the boring museum you maybe know. It's a place where you get actually like a whole experience into time, and they show you which kind of buildings has been there, and as well you can still see some fractions of the Roman civilization under the ground. So where you can see that, I don't know if I can share you this screen. Yes, you can see this as well. If you are in the center, if my Google Maps works, yes. So here you have the Dam Tower. It's the big tower which you cannot see now because it's under construction. This is the Dam Square, and here you have in the daytime there are stairs going down. so they go actually down naturally, and of not naturally, but they force it to go down. And at the night they go up, so you cannot enter. So it's like you can go down in the ground. So it's maybe not very good visible, but you can buy tickets over here. Really, really recommend it. Let's see if I can make it big again. Yes. Okay, so Dam Under. Another question to you guys: why are there forts near Utrecht? And this is somehow really unique, because you don't find this in a lot of other places in the world. And I would like you to go back to the map again, if I can show you, because that's really an interesting detail about the region of Utrecht, is that everywhere, if you look around Utrecht, you can see forts. And if I go a little bit outside the city, you can see, for example, here a fort. They're still protected. They actually want to put those forts on the UNESCO list. So here you have another fort next to the university. They made the botanical gardens out of that. So, and here you see even better another fort. So if you zoom out over the whole line, which is of course with my fast computer a challenge, but you can see here there are all forts. So maybe you think, like, why are those forts there? They are like for protection, probably. That might be the answer. Oh, what is going on? I think, I don't know if I have still access to this presentation. Let's have a look. I think I'm logged in a wrong Google account, but let's do it like this. We'll have a look if I can access my 1 second. I think I'm logged in the wrong Pro computer. Here we go. I think I got it again. All the technical things are always not working when you want them to work, of course. Okay, it's coming. Which slide I was? I think I was here. Yeah, I think I'm back. Okay, so I'm sorry for the delay. So what I want you to show you is that this is actually if you have the city of Utrecht, is that you have these forts around. And how did they actually, why are they fort there, and how did it work? So this is a quite unique system in the world. You cannot find it anywhere else. They built first a similar system around the Amsterdam. But what they did is they built the forts around the Utrecht, and they basically built the forts above the water level. And when they noticed that troops were coming, they actually opened the dikes, because the Netherlands is most of the time below sea level and river level. So they opened the dikes here. So they actually flood the waters. So they didn't use walls. They used actually the advantage of the disadvantage that they had, like being below the water level. And they flood the waters. So what you see is that all the waters around Utrecht were flooded when the troops came. Did this actually work, and how often did they use this? It was a problem, because when they actually started to use this was in the Second World War, when there were already airplanes invented. So imagine that didn't really work out. And sometimes with if you had a lot of ice, then people could walk over it, which is also not really what you wanted. But the idea was quite cool, and yeah, it was a really like an experience of an experiment. But it probably made as well people afraid of not going there, because yeah, if you have horses and maybe carriers and you go through the waters, yeah, imagine that you cannot survive. So that's a little bit the idea. So how to explore this? I sometimes take people on these tours to take them with me on the bike and to visit one of those forts. You know, this is one of those forts, for example. But it's not actually to visit all those forts inside, but it's just cycling through from fort to fort. And on the way, you will see a lot of different places. So that's kind of the deal I always make when I take people on those tours. You can make it as crazy as you want. So if you want to go for like 15 kilometers, that's possible. If you want to go for 45 kilometers, that's possible. So somehow there's a lot of possibilities. And sometimes I take people of 10 or 15 and go out to a restaurant or buy some nice lunch somewhere. So these are the things. But you also can do that by yourself. So if you have the free time to have a look and to explore, please do this, because this is somehow you really cannot find anywhere else. You can see a lot in maybe 3-4 hours. So that's definitely my recommendation in the region. Another question: if you start boating or paddling from Utrecht center, in which inland countries in Europe you can end up? Because there are a lot of possibilities, I think, to go from Utrecht. But where do you think you can end up eventually? Because Utrecht is a trading city, as you see. Like previously, people trade their goods inside those warehouses here. And from here, where could you actually go? So some people might know, but this is yeah, something interesting. And basically, in the Netherlands, you can go everywhere. So from Utrecht, you can, for example, go to Amsterdam with the boat, or you can go to Rotterdam. So everything is kind of tied together, connected. So here I show you a picture. Of course, I'm a geographer, so I really love those kind of images. This is The Hague, but here you have around Utrecht. So with the dot I show you, this is Utrecht. So from the, you can actually reach almost all countries around the Netherlands: Germany, Luxembourg, France, Liechtenstein, and Switzerland. So imagine that you can actually go to Basel with the boat. And some people do, because you have some cruise ships going from Basel to Utrecht and then go to Amsterdam. So it is actually already happening that people taking those interesting tours, because you can see a lot of history and you can see a lot of beautiful cities in Europe. What else? Cycle and explore. This is my second topic I would like you to tell about. Cycle and explore is like definitely when you start living here in the Netherlands, and you probably heard it from many people around, who give it buy a bike. So if you have the possibility, buy a bike straight away, but make sure that you buy a good one. Maybe spend a little bit more than 30 euros, so spend like around 60 or 80 euros and you can actually go everywhere. The Netherlands is a bike country. So this is in Utrecht actually. It's a unique place. This is, if you probably don't believe it, but this is this is a school for children. So basically children, they get taught underneath a cycle path. So in the Netherlands, they really try to merge in facilities with cycling. So it's interesting country if you love biking, and maybe as well if you don't love biking, you definitely will start like biking. My girlfriend, she recently moved here, and she had a car. She's from Spain, and she said in Spain we do everything with car. And then she came here, and now after 1 month she's already planning to sell the car because she don't want to use it anymore. So imagine those things are quite changing quickly, and as well your mindset, because as soon you start cycling, you start to enjoy it, but watch out the weather, because in the Netherlands, of course, it's not always pleasant. And my biggest advice is buy a good luck and don't buy a too much beautiful bike because yeah, there are always robbers around, and there are a lot of stories people losing their beautiful bikes. So definitely, yeah, take care of that. Another thing is make sure that you explore. So maybe uh, pick some nice, you can find online some routes and go for a Saturday just on a bike ride. You can see a lot of beautiful things, and if you don't have inspiration, you can always contact me because I know some beautiful places to go. So I do, for example, cycle tours. Yeah, join it. It's quite interesting. You will go, for example, to old, yeah, what is it? It's like an old American air base. So where until the 1990s, still Americans were based in the Netherlands. They get rid of it, I think, 10 to 15 years ago, and since 3 years, it's an open place where you can actually cycle on the land areas where the planes used to land. So it's quite interesting. You can go there. I will do a little bit of tours through the landscapes of the forts I previously explained you, and we have some lunch somewhere, so it's actually everything included. Yeah, what I told you, you can go with friends or group or family. I don't mind. We always have a lot of fun, and I like to meet as well new people. So we probably will merge a lot of groups together in the restriction of the COVID-19, of course. So we make sure that we will not. Yeah, we will follow the rules. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna explore the Dutch landscapes, meeting new people, and have fun on the bike and keep it safe, of course, because sometimes you will cycle at some places where you can have some troubles. But I will make sure you will be all right for that. For students, I have a 25 euros. It's really cheap for that, I think. We go to a lot of places, so per person, and you even have lunch included. So it's kind of a nice deal. Um, I think more important for you guys, you're students, so you like to drink beer, hopefully. And if you don't like it, it's the same with bikes. You will get to like it in the Netherlands because sooner or later you will find your favorite beer. There are a lot of nice beers here in Utrecht, so make sure that you drink them because there are, I think, almost 10 breweries in town that make their own beers. Oudaan is one, but there are a lot more. So if you have time as well for this, please take your time and taste and enjoy. So I made a list of my favorite bars. I've seen almost all the bars. So if you have some bars you think he has to know, tell me because I would like to know more. But I almost seen all the bars in Utrecht, and I made a top 3 for you. So if you are interested, note them down and definitely promise to visit them because they are quite unique in Utrecht. After such a long time of living here, you also always want to have something new. The most popular one, maybe, but definitely recommended, it's Café Olivier. Café Olivier is, you maybe have seen it already if you are here for a couple of weeks already, but Café Olivier is definitely good to drink a beer and see history at the same time. It's a church. It's an old hidden church because at a certain time in Dutch history, the Catholic Church was not allowed to preach their beliefs here. So people who were still part of the Catholic community, they wanted to have their own missions. So what they did, they built hidden churches inside normal houses. So in the normal houses, this church, for example, is in a normal house. You cannot see from outside it's a church. But I think around 20 years ago, it became empty because in the Netherlands, we don't have so much people who believe in Christianity anymore. So they changed it to a bar because otherwise they think it gets unused and not maintained. So let's make it something nice where people still can gather together. This is open every day, so even on Sunday you can have a drink in the bar. Definitely recommend it. I also worked here for I think a year or so, so I've seen it every corner of this place, but I still enjoy going there. So Café Olivier, write it down. Definitely recommend it, especially at night. It's really like an experience. A more classic, where I think most of the Utrecht people never been actually, so people who are watching from Utrecht even have a look there. Café van Wegen. It's unbelievable, authentic. Don't go there in big groups. So go there maybe with two people or something, because maybe the owner Van Wegen doesn't really appreciate that. He likes more like the quiet, peaceful environment. There's no music inside, but just have a look how the pubs look like in the Netherlands in the 1960s, let's say. Before the bars came with disco, this was the authentic Dutch cafe. You don't have them anymore so much, so have a look on it. It's an interesting experience. He has a lot of nice food, cheese, and all stuff you can experience. You have to pay with cash, I think, so make sure that you take that. But have a look. Café van Wegen, definitely recommend it. Last but not least, Het Oude Pothuis. This is my favorite pub, especially in my student years. I always went here. They have every night live music, so have a look on this. I think they start every day at 10 or 9 with live music, but before you can sit outside. It's one of India's old cellars, so you can actually enter the place here. This cellar was an old brewery. So yeah, you can have a lot of fun time in this place, especially now. They have really good music, facilities. So the music there in this room is really well balanced. So it's almost a record studio. So if you have a good band playing there, which is not unusual, they have really good bands, then you can have a look there. So definitely go there and enjoy. What else is to tell about Oude Pothuis? Just enjoy. They have really good white beer. They have good, Utrecht Oud-Daan white beer on the tap. So if you ask them for a Utrecht beer, they will give you that. So that was it. If you're interested, please let me know. You can give me a sign on my WhatsApp. This is my WhatsApp number. Otherwise, you can go to utrechtexperience.nl. This is my website. You can email me. My email address is there. I also have TripAdvisor. You can have a look. But I think the best is if you want to have just a private tour with some people or some friends, just contact me on my WhatsApp. Then I will respond really quickly, and then we can arrange a day where we can go out and enjoy. So hopefully you have a really good stay here in Utrecht. Make yourself feel comfortable, because there is a lot of ways to make you feel comfortable, but don't be shy and just explore, And my recommendation is to have a look at those bars, of course, but also just to take the bike, because the bike is the essential feature of the Netherlands. And use the website Buienradar to check if it's going to rain, because that's also a problem here. But as soon as you have done that, check the weather, and you have your bike, you're ready to go and explore. And if you want to have a guidance, I can help you out with that. So hopefully you have a good stay, and good luck with the introduction this week, because you have a lot of other things to do, I guess. So yes, thank you for your attention, and have a good day. Bye bye.